Ganges River in northern India. I'm Gabriel Morris, author of Kundalini and the Art of Being, which is an adventure story on both the outer and inner levels that chronicles my adventures during the early to mid-1990s when I was sort of homeless, a wandering 20-something, and hitchhiking around the western United States, living on some farms, visiting rainbow gatherings, these really cool free-form festivals in the middle of the woods that happens every year, worldwide actually, and going to music festivals, working at a yoga retreat, going to a strange spiritual cult in Sedona, Arizona, that is kind of a whole wacky story, and backpacking alone in the wilderness, working in Alaska. So that's kind of the outer context. The inner context is that I experienced something known as Kundalini awakening. People who practice yoga and meditate, have been to various workshops and things, have probably heard the term Kundalini. Maybe you have a familiarity with it already, but if not, then I'll try to encapsulate it as best I can. Basically, it's an inner energy, a spiritual energy that exists within all human beings. It's kind of a greater potential for us, and it can be awakened through yoga practices, meditation, various other things, tantric practices. Sometimes it happens from people doing drugs or some kind of a trauma or who knows, but preferably it happens under the guidance of an instructor, a yogi, guru, someone who is familiar with it, but not necessarily. So in my case, as in many others, then after just having practiced yoga for a year and a half or so, then all of a sudden I experienced this intense rush of energy in the course of meditation one evening that it originates in the root chakra and rises up the spine. That's generally what happens, and that was the case for me. And then it enters the mind and can be quite overwhelming. So that was more or less what happened to me, and then all these other symptoms came along with it. So the book details both the about year and a half leading up to my Kundalini experience, and then about the year and a half or two after that, as I'm learning how to integrate this in the course of my travels at the time, while I'm also hitchhiking all over the place and having all these weird experiences, including astral projection, and I end up meeting this very strange and mystical homeless man who turns into sort of a guide for me, and many other things. So another idea for how to understand Kundalini energy, since I'm here on the Ganges River here in India, is imagine that you have a house that's built right near a river. So a couple hundred meters or so away from a river is your house, and this house is designed to run on water. So you have your plumbing system that's all set up to receive this water. You have maybe a water wheel and a hydroelectric generator, and so you have this channel that goes from the river to your house, like under your house, and then it goes back to the river. So kind of a basic concept. You've got this source of energy, you tap into it, it flows under your house and then powers your house. But the problem is that over the years of neglect or whatever, then this flow of energy has gotten dammed up, and so you don't have the full capacity. So there's just kind of a little trickle or a stream or something of water coming into your house, and so your house isn't functioning at full capacity. You have your plumbing sort of works sometimes, doesn't other times. Maybe the lights don't always work at full level, and you have some things that you could use if you had the full force of the water, but you just kind of learn to do without, and perhaps you figured out where the analogy is going here, but so basically the house would be your physical body, mental body, emotional, spiritual body. That's you, and the river is the universal life force, the flow of energy that's all around us. And in this case, in the channel that's going to this house would basically be your chakra system. And so what happens with Kundalini awakening is basically this dam breaks, and all of a sudden you get the full force of this water rushing into you and kind of turning all the lights on. But this can be a traumatic experience because maybe you've got all kinds of stuff in this channel. You've got your baggage, let's say, or you just your storage or whatever, and then things aren't set up properly to handle this water because it's been so long, they've been so neglected or something, and so it's this whole integration process of figuring out, okay, now how do I manage to handle this new influx of energy, and incorporate that into your new routine. So that's more or less what Kundalini energy is. It's tapping into this stronger, more intense flow of energy, and it turns your body and your mind into its full potential, brings you to kind of another level of being, and it's a lifelong process. I'm still in the middle of it even after 16 years. So anyways, so my book Kundalini and the Art of Being talks about all this stuff, and if you're curious to pick up a copy and read more in depth, then it's available on lulu.com as an ebook. It is also published as a hard copy. It's available on amazon.com, but it comes free with my other ebooks. So if you're interested in some of my other stories, I have a book of travel stories, Following My Thumb, A Decade of Unabashed Wanderlust, and that's about all sorts of travels of mine throughout the 1990s, Europe, Western United States, Alaska, Hawaii. I spent several months living in the rainforest of Hawaii, and then part 3 of that book is all set in India, so 5 months in India. So Following My Thumb tells about 30 different travel stories or so. I Leapt Into the Night is a book of kind of weird, quirky fiction short stories that I wrote when I was a creative writing student in Alaska, and which I've then updated and improved. And then another book, Don't Push the Road, is sort of a random collection of essays, some fiction, non-fiction stories, an assortment of things. So with all 3 of those books, and you'll get a free e-copy of Kundalini and the Art of Being as well, you'll get a link to a website where you can download the book for free, and then on that same website, then there's a bunch of other things. There's a link to an article that I wrote for the Sedona Journal of Emergence in August of 2010 on Kundalini energy, so it kind of goes into a little more depth than what I was just talking about as far as Kundalini, and kind of tries to encapsulate it in as short and precise manner as possible. And then there's a bunch of other links on there as well. So that's the free book offer. You can look around the site, and there's a bunch of other things, my travel photography, including some photos of India just from the past month or 6 weeks or so, as well as Philippines and Greece, Egypt, and Turkey, and then a photo book of some photos of mine. So feel free to take a look around, and then over on the bottom left side of my Lulu page, then you'll also see some other links. You can find my main website through there. You can connect with me on Facebook. My group is titled Travel the World with Gabriel Morris, and I'm chronicling my current adventures. So a couple of months ago I flew to the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore. I've been in India for 6 weeks now. I'll be here for a while longer, and then I'm going to Nepal, going trekking in the Himalaya mountains. So I'm posting photos, videos, links, telling stories, and all sorts of stuff on that Facebook group. So if you just search around those links, then you'll find that link somewhere. And actually, you can find that link on the page with the free offer where you get Kundalini and the Art of Being as an ebook as well. So thanks a lot for watching. Before I go, though, I'll show you a little bit better view of the scene here around the Ganges River. Get up to a little vantage point here. So where I am is in the foothills of the Himalaya mountains. The river here is relatively small, still a good-sized river, but not nearly the size that it gets further downstream, and it is very cold. On a slightly warmer day, then I would be all about going for a swim in there, but today isn't quite heating up enough. So this is an interesting area here of, as you can see, boulders and things. We can find some nice little like sandy spots to meditate and do yoga. So that's going downstream that way. Up this stream is upstream and north into the Himalaya Mountains. A couple of days bus ride from here would get you smack into the Himalaya Mountains. I was actually up there a couple of weeks ago. Really amazing. Off in the distance there you can see a few buildings. There's some temples and ashrams and things out there. This is a really interesting area, a little ways north of Haridwar, India, where there's a lot of ashrams. Lots of Westerners like to come here. Lots to do, and a beautiful area. So take care and have an excellent day.